Failure is important. Let's start off by defining what failure is. Failure is not being able to achieve your intended objective, outcome, or desired result. Now, why is failure important? Failure is important because it teaches you lessons that allow you to adapt your approach or methodology to achieve your desired objective, outcome, or result. So, if you do not utilize failure to learn and move forward, you basically stagnate. You accept a momentary defeat, and in this way, you interrupt or discontinue your journey towards success. Now, it is important that whenever you fail, you pause and reflect as to the root cause of the failure. It's important to do that because the root cause of failure might be something that's within your control. And if it's within your control, you can take note of it, make the necessary adjustments, adapt your approach, and then try again. You see, it's only failure if you quit. But if you move on forward with your learned lessons, you haven't failed. You just faced a bump on the road in your journey to success. And let's say, even if you go back and examine the root cause of your failure, and you recognize that what caused your failure are elements that are out of your control, that there is nothing you can do about them, that is still a valuable lesson, because while there isn't much you can do about elements out of your control, there are things you can do about what is within your control, and that's your attitude towards those elements out of your control, as well as your ability to think through other approaches that allow you to reorient yourself, okay? Or alternatively, to mitigate the elements outside of your control to adapt your approach or methodology to achieve success. So, the reason I bring this up is that I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about the importance of failure and how it is looked down upon and stigmatized in society, and that failure is very important, for every person to go through. Aside from the fact that it allows you to learn a lot about yourself and about how to achieve success, it is important as part of your growth as a human being, okay? It is important because it teaches you about life. It is important because when you do fail, the approach you have taken is a bottom-up approach, meaning that you're learning by doing rather than a top-down approach where you're learning the theory first and possibly applying it, okay? With failure, you learn what works for you, okay? You move forward knowing that not everything you've learned theoretically might work for you. Instead, you have to go out there and learn for yourself. The tech companies have a very good slogan on this, and the slogan is fail fast, fail often, and fail forward, okay? Meaning that it's okay for you to fail as many times as you want, but do it quickly, learn from it, and take the learnings and move forward, okay? Now, this will not take place unless you actually get into the arena, meaning that you need to get out there in the real world and do things by yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking a top-down approach if you want to learn from other people's mistakes, and basically see if that works for you. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter, I'm reiterating myself, how many books you read, how many pieces of advice you take from others that achieved the same objective you're going for. At the end of the day, you're going to have to do the work. And in the process of doing the work, you will fail, okay? And in a lot of ways, it is a blessing, okay? It's a blessing because it helps build your resilience, it helps expand your awareness, it helps build your resourcefulness, it expands your mindset, it allows you to look at problems from different perspectives. So at the end of it, really, the fruit of your labor or the real success isn't the achievement of the objective, but the growth you achieve as an individual. Okay? So failure is very, very important. And as much as it is stigmatized and looked down upon, you have to go counterculture when it comes to failure. Because the truth of the matter is, if you just follow the herd, if you comply with the norm, then you're gonna get the same result everyone else is getting, okay? And that's basically living in fear, living in a sense of embarrassment, just feeling like you are restrained and repressed, and all of that because you do not bet on yourself, have the self-confidence and self-trust that you will see yourself through no matter what. Okay? There's a lot of things that stand up in the face of, embracing failure. A lot of it is psychological dissonance, or basically being concerned about, socially fitting in, being concerned about your image or reputation, disappointing yourself. I mean, the list goes on as to why failure stings, okay? But perhaps the reason failure is stigmatized and it stings has nothing to do with failure itself, but rather our perception of it and understanding of it. To give you an example, look at toddlers. Toddlers, when they're learning to walk, they constantly topple over or fall. Yet they instantly stand up and try again. And they try again and again and again for as long as it takes until they're able to take a few steps and walk. Now, why is it that we have this ability at such a young age to embrace failure, learn from it, and not have it hinder us, but as we get older, it seems to disappear? It seems to become this monster that we're scared of and we avoid at all costs, and we become comfortable accepting our perceived limitations rather than crushing through them as we did when we were toddlers. Well, a lot of it again has to do with societal norms, conditioning, the expectations of others, your perceived sort of fit into a mold that's created for you by others. So in a lot of ways, it's not your fault that you're scared of failure, okay? Because at a very young and vulnerable age, you've had your view of failure readjusted, okay? It's been changed. Even though at an instinctual level, you come out of the box ready to embrace it and move forward with failure. It is not something to be demonized. It is not something to be scared of. It is not something to worry about or have it repress you. Rather, you look at it as a challenge, as a part of the journey. Okay? Now, it is what it is that outlook and ability is lost over time as we get older, as our life changes, as we integrate into society. But it's also important to recognize that failure is not the end. It's only the beginning. Okay? Failure is the beginning of you adapting your approach or methodology to continue your journey to success. Failure is not the end of the clock, it is not the end of your energy, and it's not the end of your wits to attempt to succeed. You need to look at failure as basically an indicator of what not to do, and that there is a better approach or a better context to operate within to achieve your success. Okay? So there's one thing I would like to leave you with in this upload, is that if you do face failure, if you do fail an attempt, it is just one attempt. The good news about failure and your journey to success is that your metric for attempts and failure is infinity, meaning that you can fail as much as you want, you can attempt as much as you want, and sooner than later, as long as you're learning from the root causes of your failure, you will reach your destination of success. You will complete your journey, and once you do succeed and complete your journey, guess what? The high of the success wears off, and you need to look for another mountain to climb. But that's a conversation for another upload. I hope this helped you guys out there that are struggling with failure or feel depressed by it or feel that there's no hope. I'm just putting this out there to tell you that yes, there is hope, and yes, that you will be able to succeed. Just stick it out, learn from the mistake or the failure you've made, and move forward, and don't dwell on and sulk on the failure. With that said, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.